Haikyuu. Why should I watch a show about people playing volleyball? That is how I felt right before starting the show. After the first few episodes, it just seemed like a regular shonen anime to me. About how the main character is going to reach his goals and improve throughout the story. The characters interest me, so I continued watching. Once I completed the first season, I had a change of opinion. The show actually exceeded my expectations. Although originally a skeptic, Haikyuu has become one of my favorite animes up to now. And that is why I'm here today, to tell you why you should watch Haikyuu. I have watched other sports anime in addition to Haikyuu, such as Kuriko's Basketball and Free. In those two anime, the main characters possess a unique ability that makes them radically distinctive from the other characters. In Kuriko's Basketball, Kuriko has very little presence, which allows him to do things such as passing the ball without others seeing him. This allows him an advantage over most players in that show. The character Haruka in Free is a great swimmer. In this show, he does not have to work to get better, therefore it's very easy for him to win. But in that specific show, the main goal is not for Haruka to win, but to feel free while swimming, like the title of the anime states. Haikyuu is a shonen, but it's unlike most shonens. Characters like Luffy, Naruto, Asta, and Goku and Ichigo are given a power which allows them to stand out from the other characters in the show. Luffy with the Gum Gum Fruit, Naruto the Nine-Tailed Fox powers, Asta with the anti-magic, Goku being born a Saiyan, and Ichigo with his hollow powers. Of the many character traits and powers, Hinata's, I must mention Hinata because he's the one that I find the most genuine. He is intentionally good, but wins because of his tenacity, stamina, and endurance. Hinata is not given any special ability to be easily good. He is just a regular player who has dreams and wants to achieve them. Don't get me wrong, he knows what he is doing when he's playing volleyball, but he's just not that talented like other players in the show. He has high jumping abilities, but that is about it when it comes to skill. In the matches, Hinata is not always the hero of the game or the best player. But who he is someone who can inspire other people to be great and achieve better heights. Hinata is very short, and typically the great players in volleyball are very tall. This disadvantage is something he gets mocked at throughout the entire show. Hinata has to persevere and find a unique way to be able to play better to stand a chance with his size. Another benefit is that other players will underestimate Hinata and not view him as a formidable opponent. This show really dives into all the characters. When I say there's not a true main character, there's really not a true main character. There are sometimes while I'm watching this, I think to myself, is Hinata really the main character? Because they bring up someone's backstory so much. You could say that's a bad thing and it's just dragging out the anime, but I think it's the opposite. The writer of this really brings out each and every character like they are the main ones. This allows you to be able to understand each and every character will and motivation for volleyball. I think it's great because you get to see why that person is there at that moment and what led to that. Kurosano is made up of players who do not really feel special. You have Daichi, who is the captain of the team and who is basically only good at rallying the players and not special at anything else. Sugawara is a third year and the previous setter of the team until Kageyama, one of the best setters, took his spot. He is the ace of the team, but previously quit because he lacked the confidence to be the best on the team. So he has to overcome the fact that he is the ace and needs to stay confident. Now you have Nishinoya, who is the libero of the team and one of the most energetic ones. Tanaka is the second year and he's the most targeted during games and he knows that he has to improve so he won't be an easy target. Tadashi Yamaguchi is the first year who is very shy and has a lack of confidence, which he improves on throughout the show. A first year and best friend of Tadashi's is Kei Tsukishima, the tall blocker of Kurosano. He really doesn't like playing with Kageyama on the team, so it's very hard for them to work together. Throughout the story, we will see how that works out between them two. Now finally we have Tobio Kageyama, which is my favorite character of the show. With his calm-headed decisions, he is one of Japan's best setters. During junior high, he had problems working along with his teammates, which gave him the title of King of the Court. Throughout the show, their dreams get explained thoroughly with flashbacks and backstories. Just by starting this show, it is inevitable that you're going to fall in love with this group of characters. In Haikyuu, the entire cast has a personality which causes you to get emotionally attached to a character because you can relate to them. The author makes them feel like real people and not just characters, such as the managers, coaches, fans, and also the other team. For an example, they flesh out teams like Nekoma, Datek, and Alba Josai. It makes you feel for all their teams just like Crossino. This reminds me of One Piece so much. All the characters are so great, sometimes you don't know who to root for anymore. Some people will say, why would you watch a game that literally takes up a whole season? The reason why is that the matches are nothing but perfect. Haikyuu is very refreshing. It doesn't feel like you're watching an anime anymore. It feels like you're there watching students at your school getting better at what they love. Watching them practice and put their heart and soul into games, and it don't even matter who they're playing against. Some of the actions in the games can get over exaggerated sometimes, such as when a player is going to receive the ball, but that is what I think makes the matches intense and have you on the edge of your seats and eyes glued to the screen. Outside of Haikyuu, I have no experience of volleyball besides playing in my gym class. I knew nothing about the game of volleyball, and this show teaches you the ins and outs of the sport. The float serves, the setter dump, and also defensive techniques. They never fail to explain what is happening in each game. I would have never imagined just by watching an anime about volleyball that I would learn so much detailed information about the game. The best part is that there are no consequences of them explaining it. The intensity always stays the same throughout the entire game. They always zero in on the spots where they want you to pay close attention to. You're probably thinking, isn't that spoiling what's going to happen? Yes, but sometimes things turn out a little bit different than what you expect. The animation is one of the best I've seen leading up into the 4th season. The way the editors arranged the games made the hype of watching it even more amazing. Such as the spikes sounding like barrel shots. And when the team gets ready for the attack, it just brings chills in your body watching it all happen. The art style shows how intense sometimes the matches could be just by looking at a character. The one thing I love is that this show is never predictable when it comes to what's going to happen next. You would expect Kageyama to set up for Hinata, but he passes it to someone else. They will hype up someone or something and they would disappoint you or it would never happen. Haikyuu is just that type of story. I hate it when a show gets too predictable because then it gets mundane and less vigorous. Haikyuu's ability to show you a new character and have you like them in just a few minutes is unprecedented. The consequences for us is doing that is unreal. One of my favorite episodes of Haikyuu is episode 22 of the 4th season. It really demonstrates that our mind has no boundary. During that episode, Crossno's facing off against Inarizaki, who is favored to win it all. This is the last set of the match and both teams are suffering from fatigue. There's a play where the ball is going back and forth and eventually it comes down to Hinata receiving it. Hinata's not a talented receiver, but he hit it back for the first time. That point right there, they eventually lost, and after that, they lost all hope of winning the game and called a timeout. Everyone, even the energetic ones, were quiet and at a standstill because hope was lost. Ironically, the person who was ready to happily play again was Hinata. He couldn't control himself because he had finally got to receive during the game. He asked Kageyama, "Did you see my receive?" And everyone turned to look at him and started laughing. Everyone had motivation to win the game just by seeing someone on their team ready for the next hit. Moments like these are the reason I watch Haikyuu, and why it is so good in my opinion. While you watch the show, You will get to see the dynamics between all the characters in the show change and evolve. The show allows you to feel empty and makes you root for Kurasuno. In my opinion, this is Haikyuu's best trait, the way it makes you feel for each and every player and team. In my opinion, this is why you should watch Haikyuu.